So we're holding by Omnam. Yes, we finished the paragraph. So the summary is, in contrast to Oid, which naturally reveals the source, and name does not, needs to be decoded, and people share the same name. For that matter, even the same mother's name will still be different people. So the name doesn't tell you anything about the person overtly. However, but there is a maila over the name of a person, which is, again, so external that it tells you virtually nothing about him. In fact, there's some names that you can't tell if it's male or female. Simcha. I tell you there's a person Simcha outside. You don't even know that. So, yet there's a maila of the Shem Lagabin in the light that emanates from the source, or as we've explained it, the image that you have, which is all light, that you have of looking at something, it's just that. It's an image. It's a reflection. You don't have the thing itself. When you see it, what you're seeing is the light that's projected from it. On the pashtus, the light that emanates from a source, from the candle, it's not the candle, or the light bulb. The source of light remains in its place, but it's not drawn in the light. And yet, here's the paradox, Mashenke and Hashem, Mamshech says, but when you call somebody a name, it stirs them at the core essence. Shari, Kashekoidin Adam Bishmoi, when you call a person by his name, as a who nifna the he turns to the one that calls him, Loi Rak Binyanav Achitzoinim, not just externally, but you've engaged him for that moment, El B'chalatz Moshe. That moment, just to be clear. The next moment when he's already filtered what you want from him, so he engages you based on whatever that encounter is going to be. But the initial moment, you call and the person turns to you, who's turning? The ganze Mensch, entire being is now, you've got his attention for that second. And then he'll pull back based on, he's not give you his whole being. What do you want? And it's an engagement, whatever level. But nifne, the verti is, he turns to the one who calls him by his name with his entire being. And you cannot say, when you neskemi, and you cannot say that this is neskemi means something that is not natural and instinctive, but something literally agreed to. This is not a function that is agreed to, a behavior that he has decided this is how he's going to behave. It's not the case. It's involuntary response. Eskemi means it's a voluntary response, and it's not voluntary. It's not it's not that he made such an agreement as when someone called him by his name, so Yifna Lakoida, he's going to turn to the person, like many other things that you do make such an agreement. Someone stretches out the hand for tzedakah. Do you naturally respond with tzedakah? You do not, unless you make the decision that you will. On the royim, it's not so by a name. We see it's not often we get to such detail here. This concept is quoted frequently in Chassidus, but here he is laying it bare for us and explaining that when you call by a person's name, Nimshach Chayus Chodosh Me'etzem HaNefesh, the person turns to you with a completely undefined, pure, what is it? Readiness for whatever that encounter is. It's a Chayus Chodosh, not a Heska made up before that if this happens, I'll respond accordingly. And we see how deeply the name summons forth the essence of the person in the following, as you're all aware of this. I don't always find the word chazaka either. But here in the Maasecho, he says chazaka, a person is deeply fainted. That means there's a recall of the manifested koiches in the body. He's not dead, but he's withdrawn. That's what fainting means. And he says here, we're talking a case of Yisalfas Chazaka. She'oz mistalkim kol hagiluyim be'yanefesh, the revelations of the soul, hashayochim laguf, that, right, he's not functioning intellectually, emotionally, they're withdrawn from the body. V'oilim l'shorsham betzman nefesh, where do these faculties go? The intellect and the emotion, they're withdrawn to the soul core. That's a deep state of faintedness. It's almost a coma. To the extent that nothing helps to revive the person. Not only give him food and drink won't help. Talking in case where even medication won't help. Fact, nonetheless, is by whispering Shmoi ba'oznoi, his name in his ear. It's also, I don't know exactly the beer, but not calling and shouting his name. They will not do it. You got to whisper it in his ear. We're summoning a whole new life force that is because it's withdrawn. This is similar to the whole universe of Shana, right? That so he's mamshich, a whole new life force from the soul essence. You could venture an explanation why it has to be whispered and not shouted or even said. Generally, it would be something because we've got to get under, slip in, as it were, to the deep superconsciousness of the soul. And making noise is a distraction. If it's loud, it's a distraction from the pure name itself. No drama, no loud sounds, just whisper the name. Pure name. No hysteria. You won't touch him with that. So v'zuhi ha'mailis Hashem and this is the mile of a name, a meididike mile of a light that emanates from the source. A name is the most external, it's a tag. Shakespeare famously said, what's in a name? It's just a label that we ascribe, a tag. The thing doesn't need its tag, can do very well without it. So he claimed. It's not true. It's not so. That's Bechitzonis is true. But a name is critical. So this is the mile of a name of a oish. It's not a ha'orable vad, a name. It's not a reflection, a natural reflection, like light naturally reflects from. In fact, you're given a name. You're not even born with a name. But you're born with oir, meaning to say your presence is there and you express your presence. As soon as you're born, oir is a natural result of anything. But not so a name, but the name is not a ha'ara, but touches the essence. It reaches there and arouses it. That's why also a name, at the point we just said, you're not born with a name immediately. It has to be given, and what's its function? The purpose of the name is to fuse the soul properly with the body, which is why we don't delay the name. The first opportunity. So for a guy, you have to have a bris because the body's not ready to take the soul's expression. Body's got to be tinkered with first. But a female, Commander Malya Damya, she's born with having been circumcised, meaning without this barrier. The body's more translucent. So we give the name immediately. There's no reason to delay. Why delay the neshama's expression in the body? So the name is what causes the fusion fully of the nefesh with the guf, dafke. Dafke the guf. Sh'oz dafke nikra b'shem. That's when a person is called by a name. When what? When the soul, the neshama, comes into a guf. So what's v'zehu? Because the neshama's etzem is drawn dafke coming down to the guf. That's why it comes down. its essence is not revealed to the neshama l'mayla. Continuing, therefore we find the following phenomena. That what? That the name is shaykh to the guf. Not so much the neshama, but the neshama is invested in the guf. So the Zohar says, or the Arizal says, that the neshama of the Rabbi, and likewise the neshama of Rav Hamnun Sova, the elder, was a spark. Now the Rebbe had something, he had something here that I only give a footnote for, which is interesting. It was like, this is the Rebbe's Chiddush here, ve'efshe gam b'china Nailis Yosem B'chinas Nitzutz. B'chlal the Lashon is a Nitzutz. The Rebbe is saying, not only the Nitzutz of Moshe Rabbeinu, but hiding a Nitzutz, a spark. It's the whole neshama in a way. Of whom are they an reincarnation, in other words, in Nishmas Moshe Rabbeinu. Move b'sifrei Kabbalah, yes, from the Arizal. Actually not. Chesed Avram. So what's he saying? If it's on the one hand, the neshama is the same neshama, yet they have, what's his point? Different names, because the guf is different. Because they're not called Moishe, El b'shem Shimon, Oy Hamnuna, V'hainu, the fish Hashem Shayich, because the function of the name, it's primarily Elis Achtos Achais Im Aguf, with the fusion of the life force of the nefesh with the guf, haguf sheloi dafka, this individual guf. Now he just adds at the end, and they bring in 38, we're missing the beer, because l'chayra, this makes the name even less related to etzem. You're telling me it's a guf thing. No. Vanislabshas and nefesh beguf, beifin shebazem mugdara etzem. But dafka the neshama comes into the body, that the essence is contained there, etc., and we don't have the beer. But the Bechlal is the beer, that it's a whole paradox of all of existence. The dafke dir b'tachtonim, Atzmus is dafke revealed in Gashmis, likewise Etzan Neshama, the Yeshan Amitis and the Yeshan Nivra. So likewise Etzan Neshama bound up with the Eibushter is revealed where dafke, which is why it comes to the guf. Leave good enough alone, leave it in heaven, and all is fine and good. But no. The neshama l'mayla is not in touch with its own etzem. So the name, which is what's all to bring out, that the name that's associated with the neshama in the guf, it's inyan atzmi, whereas oy is not inyan atzmi. Oy is the natural expression of where you are right now, whatever you're expressing. It doesn't express your essence. So that's the paradox of the shame. Now, all this was to explain Chayis, Oyer and Chayis, right? Or to explain the pasuk of the Kai Neshamash, Aremimcha Lakai HaMelech. The Lakai means both Chayis and the Likus, Oyer and Shem.
This Zehu, right, for the end of the paragraph, I don't know that is it really an additional quality of shame, or is it because we Zehu Mailish Hashem Allah we established that that's it, and then Zehu
and that's the
goes in not on a tangent, but
no.
Speaking about how it's about Shaykh to Islapsus Nefesh B'Guf, which I don't know that that's another characteristic of a Maila of shame.
He's saying Vizel. He's saying Vizel and Gamma. Everything we said now is also why it explains why the name is not given the Maila, but the name is Dafke given when the Neshama comes into the Guf, because it's in the Guf that that's when the Neshama is revealed.
Okay, so that's I guess in continuation.
Continuing.
Maila of shame.
What we said right now will explain also why a name is dafke given for the neshama in the guf. Why? Because when neshama comes into the guf, again, they're missing what the Rebbe explained, but we gave you a general idea. That's where the essence is revealed of the neshama, not l'mayla. Hence, the name is not given l'mayla.
Because we always say etzem neshama remains l'mayla.
No.
The chilek of the neshama is mislavish in the guf. Yet,
you're
drawing on etzem
But the union of that's naturally at birth. But then there comes the union of shame, and then comes avodah thereafter, and that draws the etzem. But the point is, the etzem is not accessible l'mayla. It's only accessible l'mata. Huh? Okay. Like Atzmus. The Eibush himself is not accessible l'mayla. Not in Atzilus, not in Ein Sof, and nowhere. Where's Atzmus connected? Dafke l'mata? No. It's a general chiddush of chassidus, yeah. But in this, there were nuanced chiddushim here. It's more than the nitzot, than the reincarnation of a few in Yonim. Okay, yeah. So all this to explain. Let's just go remind us ourselves of the context. So to explain the pasuk Lekaya Melech, two opposite pirushim. Now we're starting to see, because each one is a mila. Oy reveals faithfully the moy, but it's only ha'odah. Shem conceals, but draws on the etzem. That's the summary of the mila of each one. Now that itself was to explain the avodah of Rosh Hashanah, which is Ari Mimcha Lekai HaMelech, which is to draw on the Reimim Atzmi, Milamayda Lamata, and then the Lekai HaMelech is to elevate the Madrege of Lekai in connected to the Reimim Atzmi, which is like just in the air. To explain all of that, this is where we now started our journey. And he'll come back to it. But now he's going to go to explain, because he went the whole explanation of what? Of name, Oid and Shem, is to explain Oid and Koyach. So now he's going to bring it back to that and explain it's a similar union. Good. Well, literally on the same page. Ois hey. I mean figuratively. His first friends need a healthy dose of caffeine. There's a price to pay to party every night, doesn't
So
yeah, in my house. And then there's cleanup. So it doesn't end when the party is over either.
President on?
Our president is not on. He was there last night. Yeah. After the chasna, we came home. My kids were all from out of town, so this went till 1 o'clock in the morning. Baruch Hashem, then this Shabbos Mevorchim, Tilim, and this Verbringen Shabbos Nacht. What's that?
You're having a big Shabbos.
Having a big Shabbos. What are you doing with Tzoi Shabbos? Okay, so I want to try and entice you away, but
Have a silver silver.
yeah, JLI, yeah, I know, yeah. Okay, so a lot of content, a lot of teich. Good. Oh, he's hey, yeah. Kadima. So similar to the distinction between Oid and Shem. Friends, it's always helpful, because it's so easy and seductive to just get lost in the words and forget what it means. They'd be just taking a life of their own. That's no good. So Oid v'Shem. Shem's obvious a name. That's clear what that means. But Oid, what does Oid mean? Oid means the natural expression of something. It's what Oid means. You're sitting here with the movement, whatever. This is the Oid emanating from you. You're not working on that. So on the one hand, this is you. I'm watching you. I see you. They told me the fellow outside with the name Kach v'Kach. So Oid means, again, the natural expression of whatever. But it's only a ha'orah. So I'm looking at you. I don't have your etzem. I'm watching all the things that you express. Even if you tell me an idea and a feeling, it's all beautiful, but it's not your etzem. Paradoxically, connecting to your etzem is through your name. Big paradox, because the name is, again, says nothing externally. So similar to the difference between Oid and Shem, is the difference between Oid and Koyach. What's Yosef Gili Canal naturally reveals. So therefore, this is the whole point of this ois now, is in these next words. There's nothing novel. There's nothing novel about the natural expression of something. Yeah, but once it exists, gamano, the light, that make it very simple. Gashmi is talking about a flame, a light bulb. This light, that light emanates from that is natural and not novel. It's natural. As we'll see, koyach, however, can be surprising. You produce this. Unexpected and surprising and novel, as you will now demonstrate. Moishe is boiling, but Mamish difference as explained in the previous maamer, and look at footnote 40, the maamer of Atem Nitzavim, the Rabbi said before Rosh Hashanah of that year, the Leis Atele Gili Adenu, they don't have it, but it could be that since this was published, they did find a manuscript. I don't know. I think not. It's not in my set of my modern. Bring it. Huh? Bring your Chav Dalet. Yes, so bring Tav. You have a later edition. So maybe something's there. But online, it's not online. Didn't see, didn't post it online yet on their website. So they've explained in the previous maamer as follows: the Kivin Shah Oir Kol B'Moir, since the Oir is bound up with the Moir, the luminary. The simple way we understand it simply, the luminary, the flame. So the light that emanates it doesn't come out of nowhere. It's in the flame. Not only is it in the flame, that was point in Tanya, should be Yosef called b'moed to be yeses, even though you can't identify. This is not going to the what he wants to bring out in Shari Ve'emunah, but the fact that if you look at the flame, you don't see the light, the rays. You don't see them. You don't see the oil and ziv, but it's there. Obviously, Adarabah, it's there and more intensely than it emanating, where it gradually disperses and gets weaker, the light. So to bring out that in the mocker, something is bottled, it's a moshe for bittul b'mitzias. The objective truth of all within the divine, we're there, but totally not discernible. And Adarabah, there, but toikev. But that's not the point of the maamer here. That's the point of Shara Yichud. So all to say that the light is in the source and there very intensely. The fact that light emanates, that's not novel. That's what a luminary does. Naturally, it produces light. And the light is there within its source and it projects it. Not surprising, not novel. Novel means it requires some kind of effort. It's not a natural expression. Light is natural expression. So it's not ischatshus. Just the light source is there in the flame, and now it just naturally projects. So just like the light itself is not novel from the luminary equals light. In other words, if I tell you that there's a flame in a dark room, do you have to ask, is the room lit? Is there light in the room? Do you have to ask the question? You know for certainty. If there's a moir, there's light. It's not ischatshus, not something novel that is not present naturally. Moreover, the fact that light emanates from the source and then illuminates something, you can see. So if I'll ask you two questions, there's a flame in this room, or there's a light bulb. Is there light coming? Yeah. Can you see what's in the room? to think for a second? No. The fact that you can see things, that's also not that's an oil, and that it illuminates, it hits things and illuminates them. That's not ischachus either. You know for certain that that's what's going on in that room. All I got to tell you is that the light bulb is on or a flame is lit. Yeah. Now, the point you're saying here is that which illuminates, he's actually saying something else. Sorry. What I said is true, but he's actually saying something else now. That which it illuminates, it doesn't bring anything novel to it. It was there before. You couldn't see it. It doesn't change. It doesn't change the book if the light is on. That's what it means, right? To change my question. There's a light on there in that room, and there are books. You're going to see the books? Yep. You don't have to think twice. You're going to see the books. Because the light doesn't change anything. The book is there, now you're going to see it, that's all. But the light is on, so what's in the room is now visible. Now, interesting thing he adds. A shayla the person might ask, and the answer. Let's have a look at it. Now, what about growth? The sun's rays do cause novel changes in the world. They cause growth. They don't just illuminate. Just like the sun, it's here, now we can see it. No, the sun, it causes a change, growth. Like we're going to say soon. In V'zayis HaBracha, Moshe Rabbeinu's brachas, mimeget tvui shemesh, the sweetness of the tvus of the crop comes from the sun. Mimeget geresh yirochim, and likewise the sweetness of the geresh, another kind of growth, comes from the moon. The sun and the moon, different lights produces different produce or different the properties in the produce. So the chayda that is a chidush? No. It's not a real change in the physicality of the world. Ella, what does it do? The sun is just causing it to grow. It's there. All the properties are there in the grain. Huh? It's not giving the seed. It's not really adding anything. It's just stirring. The light is stirring its growth. So it's a shtikl chidush, but not really ischachus. It's there. Property of growth is there. It just stirs it. Ella tzmicha v'gidul b'vad. It's only growth and expansion. That's what the light of the sun does. Still not something fundamentally novel. No real change.
Sun, and it's giving off heat, and a person's getting hot from it. That's not changing the person. No?
You're asking a silent. No, what about warmth?
The same kind
yeah. So.
Yeah.
Well, being in a lit room has an effect too. You could, if it's not lit and you walk, you can hurt yourself. A big effect. So effect of not talking. The question is, what's the nature of the effect? The nature of the effect is that it illuminates what's there. Huh? But your question of warmth.
No, I'm saying it's a similar idea to the plants growing. Because it is changing the person in a way.
But the plant you're saying the h'tשכ is there in the.
She didn't.
The light
have her
didn't
alarm
give
on?
the light did not give the h'tשכ. h'tשכ is there and the light stirs it. So the shayla about warmth.
I forgot.
Is that something's been added to you?
She likes to be up at 6.
I'm not asking you a question. I'm saying it's the same idea.
But
Why she needs to be up so
the
early?
answer is that it's like light.
I think
It's also not adding anything.
Well, now she's late,
Right.
but she likes to be up at 6.
Even though there's a physiological change when you're warm or when you're cold, that's a fact. But that's like the tzmicha. It's like the tzmicha. So to a little bit further. Being warm is the raising of the temperature. So when you get warm, what happens is your temperature is risen. That's something from within. The light, the warmth of the sun is either that rise in the temperature within you. The change is happening here, not because of the warmth of the rays of the sun. Just like the tzmicha. The tzmicha is happening mitzad the koycha yelod in the ground and the seed, etc. And the sunlight is only ma'oided it. So thanks for asking it. It crystallized it.
It's like a natural reaction, meaning it's not that the sun is putting extra effort that this plant should grow. as a reaction of the rays of the sun, this is what it's being ma'ir, that it will happen. But there's no effort going in.
That's the first point. But he wanted, there's a second point, says the Maasecho, is even the thing that it affects is no change. You're only addressing that it's effortless for the sun. The chiddush of the Maasecho is that even the Dovar Amor, there's no change. And he's asking, there is, we're getting warm, we're growing. So the answer is, in all of it, it's really here. Being warm is because my temperature rose.
Truth is, you can
And what caused it is the sun. So it's not the sun's the warmth, it's me.
have a greenhouse where there's no sunlight, and it's just, let's say not greenhouse, that have lamps that can make something grow.
Okay, so again, that's all oil.
No, so I'm saying
I still need oil. We're not stuck on the sun. We're not stuck on the sun, Marshall. We're talking about oil. And the point is that the koyach ha'tzmicha is there. The koyach ha'tzmicha is there within.
Hey?
And the light only ma'oder, and the warmth also. You're warm because your temperature rose.
What? Tell me
What's
what.
ma'oder, that is the sun.
It is.
The sun, no matter how much, it's not going to grow.
That's right. And if a person's dead, his temperature is not going to rise either, no matter how much the sun. The physical body will get warmer. That's because there are properties in the physical body that react. It's still physical. There's still warmth, even in inanimate things. But anyway, we digress. Let's finish the point. So it's not ischachus in the geshem, el tzmicha v'gidul bilvad. It's only causing the growth, but there's no change in the geshem. He writes in Tanya, being quoting from the Medrash, it says that there's no blade of grass, that there's not an angel appointed over it that doesn't strike it and say, grow. Being a mazel, a makir, by the mazel, it strikes it, and says to it, God, they'll grow. Regardless. The kvetch is also, even growth is no real change. It's just expansion. It's expansion. It's not caused by the angel striking it. It's caused by the light. But it's the expansion of the geshem. There's no fundamental change in the geshem. This is all true of light. It's revelation. Light will always, because light will always, hefsek will always naturally come from the luminary. As long as there's a luminary, there's gonna be light. It's not something novel. You have to work at and produce a luminary naturally without hefsek. As long as there's a luminary, will produce light. To be continued tomorrow, the union of koyach, which is union of ischachus, something novel, expected, unpredictable.